Hi guys, I decided to make a quick advanced guide on delving because I figured some stuff out. I feel like sharing it. Plus, people on my stream been asking questions, even though I explained them, but I think I didn't explain them enough. So I'm going to go more into details a little bit. I'm not going to cut this, so I might stutter a little bit. Sorry about that, but it is what it is. I'm trying to save time. So first, we're going to go for what we are looking for. We are looking for certain nodes. So, as I said, the most expensive fossils come from these. It looks icon like this one, and you want it on either of those three backgrounds. So I think this one is fractured. This one is the for this one gives you plus for the gems as a gem one, and this one is for corrupted essence. So, for example, if you craft gloves like these, as you can see, it has a suffix of essence. So what it does, it randomly picks one of the corrupted essences and applies it on your item. That one costs around 25C at this moment. So, one thing I figured out is, you go for a node, let's say it's this fossil on this background, and all of a sudden, I didn't get my fractured fossil. I just got a bunch of random ones. And there's a catch, the name of the node. So every single node that it's called Smaga Stash, and it's on either background, it doesn't matter which one, you're not gonna get the big reward. And the thing is, if I go here and, for example, click on this one, this mug is Smuggler Stash. For example, this one, the most valuable one, most valuable fossil costs 5C, but because it's just bunch of random ones, I'm not gonna get as much. I just want to point out that doesn't mean if, for example, you like one away and you can pick up the Smuggler Stash, you should, because a bunch of 1C or 2C fossils is still better than nothing. But I'm just saying that, for example, I wouldn't go out of my way if I'm going down, let's say here, and all of a sudden I see one here with a broken wall and it's called Smugget Stash. I'm not gonna go for it because I don't feel like it's worth it, right? So that's number one. As I said, we are still looking for the elements because you have a chance to get not just the, let's say, plus minions, or you can get a curse. You have a small chance that either one of those delve mods are going to be fractured, and that's where the big monies are. I think I am sold out on all the fractured mods. This one. Yes, unfortunately, I cannot show you example, but I had let's say take 10% physical damage as chaos, and I got it fractured, and I got divine out of it. Who knows how much could you get if you got a +1, or you could get a curse fractured. That would be a nice money, but I personally didn't get it. I've been farming delve ever since the game came out. I did get like 60, 70 divines, but fair amount of currency, but none of them were like big items. Only one, right? That's what I talk about. So we know that we are looking for these ones and these ones. Now, I mentioned cities. I really like cities myself, and for two reasons. For example, you are struggling with red maps and sustain. So these usually just give you truckloads of maps. Now this is depth 47. So this is level 71. I think it's like equivalent of white maps. So I'm just gonna go quickly there. If I die, I apologize. This is my brand new character that I'm trying to make. It's not ideal. It's not fully finished. So just pardon if I die. Just want to try to show it up as examples. Like you can see, like I don't have it at all. but we shouldn't have an issue with killing the city itself, because there's going to be just a bunch of monsters, and there's, thanks to the walls, Spark is one of the skills that just is really, really good, you know. So, as I said, I light up the city, and as you can see, there's going to be a bunch of armor, riches, armor and riches. Okay, never mind. We just got like 2C worth of items. Now this is equivalent of, as I said, white map. So the amount of money, it's adequate to that. Right now, thanks to the drops, it is better actually. Oh, okay, so we have charts. That's why I wanted to show you guys. So I personally, I think I've got hidden everything that is white maps. Oh no, I don't. No, I don't. Okay. So as you can see, you get a bunch of maps. That is very handy. For example, if you struggle with the maps. And in early league, I was selling them for a couple of C each. And another thing, right now it's kind of popular for people to blast maps until they find that 1 in a million rare. So we can pretty much pick up as many maps as we can and just sell them in bulk for, like, say 2 or 3C each. And you can make decent money out of that as well. So yeah, these are for very maps and the currencies. I can guarantee you get at the very least 1C out of every single city. So these are like the nodes that give you currency 100%, right? So if you pick up curses, you always get decent fossils. Like if you go for auras, you always get at least 3 or 4 fossils for minions, which is like 12C each. So these are guaranteed money from nodes. Now, as I said, but the one thing you make the most money of is going into a darkness, right? And also I'm going to talk about the cutout nodes, because I think I didn't explain it enough. So, right, I should have went here. This is a guide, but I messed it up. So what sometimes happens is, like, the first time you turn into a darkness after you have it, start your, I don't know, adventure, you pretty much guarantee that there's nothing. I'm not sure why it's that, because I think the node itself, it's considered unlocked, and this is part of that node. So maybe that's why there's usually in the first crevice there's nothing. But of course, we've got one here in the corner. We should have something here. Like, when you get used to it, it's actually pretty easy, and you do it automatically. I know it looks very hard, and you're like, okay, so should I go up and down? You should do both. You go up, you get a couple of jewelries. If you are in a depth like 40, you can use it for chaos recipe, right? Because accessories are usually the one that you short of. Lost ornaments. Okay, we were kind of unlucky. The boxes are random, right? So sometimes you're like, oh shit, I found fossil after fossil, and then I found the boxes with riches. But for example, you can see that I'm pretty unlucky. So now we've got wall, and even behind the wall can be, shitty ass box, as it is right now. So pretty much the boxes are RNG, right? The loot from the boxes is set based on your depth. However, what kind of boxes you find along the way is random. So I've got resonators. Resonators are going up in price. So this is 2C. I'm selling the small ones 11 for 10. So I can squeeze in another C. But I'm selling them in bulk. I'm not selling them by one. Now people ask me, how much do you make? I would say with delving, you can make 10 C. 1 divine plus, and that includes trading. It's not like I cannot show you like spreadsheets, and okay, I made this amount of money and this amount of money, because some fossils won't sell for days, you know. And then there's someone who's crafting and he needs hundreds of them, so he's gonna buy them off you. And you can guarantee a 1 divine an hour if you like really blast. And yeah, and then you, for example, set up your prices. So what I usually do while pricing is I look up, for example, bone fossil, right? I know that people that crafting with minions, they just use bunch of them. Oh, 1 second, I didn't activate these. So they just buy a bunch of them. So this could go double in price. For example, you can see that it's for 2C, but if it starts today, nice. So you can see it's 2C price. I would sell it for 4, right? You can see if you have 2, you can already charge 3. So just put them on 4 until you get certain amount. Same goes for other ones. This one, 3C, if I have 21. I could put them for 2 if I wanted to sell them earlier. Right now there's a fair amount of them. But, you know, just be careful so you don't price it based on the first one you see, you know. If you post everything 0.7 and you have 100 of them, you're losing 30C on that trade. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk about the cutoff node and how to get to a certain point. Because I've been told that was not explained enough. So, let me give you example, which would be quite difficult to figure out which one is which, you know. Because all of them seems pretty easy. Oh, this one looks very difficult. Big time. Okay. So, oh, I'm gonna just cut new. And we have these. Okay. So, I did say that I call them cutoff nodes. Now, what I mean by cutoff, that means that they are not connected to additional node, right? And they finish, which means that they cannot continue. They cannot go like left and back. They cannot go any other way because they are done. So that's why I call them cutoff, because I automatically cut them off of having a chance to connecting to a node. Now, maximum of roads you can have from one node is 4, right? So you can go up, down, left and right. So that means this one, it cannot be this one. Now I want you to imagine the delve be in squares, right? So as I said, there has to be at least one node in between the at one square between the node and the way you're going. So this one can potentially be for this one and this one, because it can go straight, break the wall here, or just go down, break the wall here and here. Now, this one it cannot be because it's 4, so we can cross it out straight away. This one is a finishing node. Now, this one cannot go left and up because this node, this one is already getting blocked with the cutoff node, right? So we can cross out this one. Same goes for this, right? Now, we are left over with 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you might ask which one it should be, and it's kind of difficult to tell, right? The most sense, if you look at all of this, would be number 1, let's say. Number 2 makes more sense, right? To get to the top. Number 3 makes most sense for the currency one. And number 4, like there's a possibility of doing something like this. But I think it's kind of rare. It might happen, but you know, it is what it is. That's why I picked the hardest one. So you have 4 options for 2 nodes. And that's what I said. If you don't have any of the very important ones, like I mentioned earlier, I don't think it's sometimes worth to go there. And another thing can happen. I don't know if you guys noticed, but when you, for example, I finished, right? And I tell my card to continue, your instance get reset. I don't know how many or how often does that happen, but the recents get reset. And sometimes, let's say, I would just finished and I got to node number 1, and I would discover that there is a wall. I would break it, run back to the card, and tell the card to run to the node, right? But what can happen that your instance get reset, the game remembers that you blew up the wall, and I don't know if you guys noticed when you, for example, go somewhere, blow up a wall, and you died behind that wall, and you come back, the loot is gone. Same thing happens when the instance gets reset, because the game thinks, okay, so he blew up the wall, so everything behind that wall disappears. So then eventually, when you take the route towards that node and you try to, farm for stuff inside the darkness, you're not going to find anything. So, yeah. Be careful. That's why I usually, when I go for the node that is hidden or cut off from the others, it has to be the one that has a value as the node itself. Because otherwise you waste time and you waste currency. Now, what you could do, if you really, 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 really want to go there, and you really, really, for example, need Azurite, you need to go and clean the darkness behind that wall. So you need a bunch of the flares and then come back. But it just wastes time, so I don't recommend it. Oh, okay. So I've been going on 15 minutes. I hope I explained it enough. If not, just ask in the comments below or come to my stream. And yeah, have a nice day.